The Supreme Court on Tuesday gave President Donald Trump a big win, allowing him to exclude openly trans-identifying individuals from the United States military for now. The justices granted an emergency request from the Trump administration to lift a nationwide injunction blocking the policy. The Trump administration's Supreme Court request was to remove a U.S. District Judge Benjamin Settle's preliminary injunction against removing transgender troops from the military while litigation was ongoing. Now, back on January 27th, Donald Trump issued an executive order prioritizing military excellence and readiness, stating this policy is inconsistent with the medical, surgical, and mental health constraints on individuals with gender dysphoria. This policy is also inconsistent with shifting pronoun usage or use of pronouns that inaccurately reflect an individual's sex. It is unclear when a final decision regarding the Trump administration's military policy for those claiming to be transgender will, in fact, be handed down. U.S. military contractor Helix Defense launched an anti-drone system Monday. It includes new anti-aircraft ammunition that will reportedly give soldiers an upper hand against drones, according to the Washington Times. The company's Sting system is said to be a programmable, scalable airburst interceptor round that gives ground units a last-mile defense against drone swarms. The contractor said Sting will improve survivability by focusing on proactive threat denial instead of being reactive. Helix said Sting could be integrated into many scenarios, but it is designed to address the growing demand for agile, close-quarters, unmanned aerial solutions. And we are awaiting one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years from the Trump administration. Those are the words the president spoke on Tuesday, and he says we will know what the announcement is before his upcoming trip to the Middle East, which takes place next week.
We're going to UAE and Qatar, and that'll be, I guess, Monday night. Some of you are coming with us. I think before then we're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets. And I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I'd tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave.
The Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, sitting next to the president, joked that he was at the edge of his seat after the president's statement. Later in the day, Trump stated it's not about trade, it's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country. Greg?
I can't wait. We're all on the edge of our seats. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is making moves when it comes to keeping the Chinese Communist Party and other hostile agents out of her state and out of politics. This week, Sanders signed what's known as the Baby Farah Law, which requires representatives acting on the behalf of hostile foreign adversaries like Iran, North Korea, China, and Russia to publicly register every year, detail their activities in Arkansas politics, and disclose who they get their money from. The law also includes companies whose principal place of business is in those countries and any representatives of those countries. Arkansas's foreign agent registration is the first statute of its kind in the country. Agents who fail to register will face stiff penalties. This isn't the first time that Huckabee Sanders took aim at Chinese influence in Arkansas.
I'm announcing that Syngenta, a Chinese state-owned agrochemical company, must give up its land holdings in Arkansas. Syngenta owns 160 acres in northeast Arkansas, which it uses primarily for seed research.
Back in 2023, Arkansas became the first state in the nation to force a Chinese state company to sell its American farmland. Now let's talk with Mass Exodus Movement founder and host of the Keisha King Show. Keisha, welcome back to Victory News.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
So the Daily Signal is reporting that Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is appealing a ruling by a federal judge that prevented Arkansas from enforcing an anti-foreign influence law to stop foreign parties like China from owning crypto mines in Arkansas. Governor Sanders was the first governor of the country to kick a communist Chinese-owned company off farmland, as I just mentioned. Do you think more governors should join her in mirroring President Trump's tough policies, especially with China?
Absolutely. I think we've seen China do a little bit too much. They've gotten a little more bold in their dealings with America. They're buying all this land. Don't forget the balloon that was just hovering over, or multiple, balloons and spy balloons that we still really don't know much about. Not to mention TikTok. Not to mention, and again, this all this land that China is buying in America. Yes, I think more governors need to push back about China being so bold in our country so we can know exactly what is going on. I think this is a great idea, and I hope more governors get behind her.
Thanks for the reminder about the balloon. We all have kind of forgotten about that. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testified before the House Appropriations, Financial Services, and General Government Subcommittee yesterday. What he shared was really unbelievable. Here it is.
Can you define for the committee today what an improper payment is and some examples of what you're seeing and why these procedures were not already in place before, Mr. Secretary?
What we are seeing is that there was a very complacent upper level of management in many departments across the entire government.
So, Keisha, over 500 million payments made in 2024 were untraceable back to an appropriation. So what's your reaction as a citizen with that level of corruption and fraud with your tax dollars?
I find it it's maddening, quite honestly, because we have seen the media be completely silent when the previous administration was doing all types of unconstitutional things like the student loans, just bypassing the Supreme Court. And now they all of a sudden want to get so detailed and press into the minutia, all of the details about the spending. Like, what is actually fraud, as if we don't really know. What they're trying to do is undermine the Trump administration and not get to the bottom of these different groups like the USAID and all of these other groups that money has just been flowing to. It is time for it to come to an end. No taxpayer, no American citizens want our money going to industries and agendas that we do not know about. We don't want this. It needs to end.
It does. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, his former chief of staff, Adam Jentelson, spoke to New York Magazine, telling them he wrote to the senator's doctor last evening, stating this, quote, "I think John is on a bad trajectory, and I'm really worried about him. If things don't change, Fetterman won't be with us much longer." The senator spoke out about it. Here it is.
It's a one source story with a couple anonymous sources. Hit piece from a very left publication.
All right, what do we have here? Is this a caring former staff member or an attack because he holds pro-Israel beliefs and he's willing to work with Trump on some issues?
With what we've seen with Joe Biden, and they're hiding his mental capabilities, and now they want to, spill the tea on Fetterman. It's ridiculous. I think this is an attack on him because he is supporting Trump and is pro-Israel, bottom line.
Yeah, I think you probably are right on that. Keisha, thank you so much.